But when I had you on last, it was just before WrestleMania weekend last year. Of course, I wound up attending the live Something to Wrestle With down there. Jeff Jarrett was a special guest. Horns Fun down in Orlando. But you had returned to Impact, or the announcement had been made that you were returning to Impact around that time. So we talked about that a little bit. Of course, we didn't get to cover how that went and everything. What was initially the return to Impact? What was that like, and how did it compare to your previous run there?
Well, the big difference was, I guess, really who was in charge. And when I had left Impact before, there was a different regime in charge, and Jeff Jarrett had called me last year, right about this time, to see if I would be interested in coming back. And I initially told him no, I wasn't interested, and frankly couldn't afford me. But he made me an offer that was kind of hard to refuse, because it allowed me to do my own thing and continue to do everything that I was already doing. So I took it, and it was, I can't complain about the experience. It was one of the easiest and most fun experiences that I've had in the wrestling business in a long time. Maybe because the only responsibility that I had was for my own performance and my own segments. So I could go out. I got there early in the day. I would sit in on the production meeting, and then I would get my stuff and do it and go back to the hotel. And that was it. I didn't have to worry about who was late. I didn't have to worry about contract negotiations or anybody else on the roster. So it was a lot of fun.
I think one thing a lot of people are curious about is after the whole Anthem purchase and everything, and did you interact with Dixie Carter at all? Or is she kind of just behind the scenes, or not even on the scenes at all?
She was not on the scene at all. The only person from the previous regime that was there was Bob Ryder, and I always got along with Bob fine.
They had there were some new talents and they were doing some switching up with the roster. Of course, when a new regime comes in, that tends to happen. LAX returned with Conan, of course, and then you had a guy like Kevin Matthews came in. Alberto Del Rio, of course, came in. Who were some of your favorite talents that were kind of the fresh faces on the roster at the time?
Well, I think EC3 is one of my favorites. I look at him and I see star all over him. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of personality and charisma. He really wants it and has the personality. I think he has the it factor. And of course, you can't discount Alberto Patron. I think that he is one of the best talents that is in the business today. He's got the look. He's got the gift, if you will. He could tell you a story in the ring, and I think he's one of the best out there today.
Now, you mentioned, of course, you had spoken to Jeff Jarrett about coming back in and, attending some production meetings and stuff. What was it like to work with Jeff and with Dutch Mantel, and see those guys working in that capacity again in creative?
It's funny. Jeff and I were talking about this the other day. I think that the perception in the wrestling business was one of that Jeff and I didn't get along and that we didn't care for one another. Jeff and I always got along, and I never had an issue with Jeff Jarrett at all. I had my issues with his father, but not with Jeff. So it was fun to work with Jeff because Jeff gave me a lot of freedom to do what I wanted to do with my, quote, character, which was really just me. And he allowed me that freedom. So it was easy. It was fun because we got to kick things around back and forth. If I had a suggestion as to another way to do it, he would listen and usually go with it. So I like that.